I'm good, man. Super excited to be at Bristol tonight. Yeah, you mentioned the cars behind you and behind the scenes. They're learning the correct line to race, and they're also learning how to wreck so they can avoid that also. Because it looks like they're tearing them up late in this practice session. They got all the fast times in. Trucks are looking pretty stout overall. Definitely looking forward to tonight. Like I said last week, one of my favorite tracks as well to race and watch just in general. So couldn't be any more excited to get this thing going. These trucks are so lightweight in the rear end, and if you try to get aggressive on corner exit, especially earlier in the run, you will lose the handling on this truck. So with how they approached last week and how aggressive they were typically overall, you know, there's definitely going to be some cautions. That's just the nature of Bristol. It's going to happen. I don't know, caution count. I expect it to be about average, maybe like five or six. And somewhere around that ballpark. As far as the racing goes, I don't expect anything calm or relaxed. Maybe in the middle a little bit, but overall, I think some aggressive racing will happen for sure, especially early on, late on. We got some drivers that need to come from the back of the field and move forward quickly because track position is key here. And if you start in the back of tonight's race, you have a lot of work ahead of you. It always does. Because there's going to be a lot of cautions, right? And so um, you gotta pace yourself. You can't just take tires, take tires, take tires when you have five or six cautions. Because at the end, if you need them and they're not there, then you're just a sitting duck. Especially late in that run. So Um, yeah, it's like I said, you just got to pace yourself. You gotta know, you gotta have a game plan. You always have that game plan coming into any race. This race more so, you gotta have a mental game plan, just because everyone's all tight niched and it's always close quarters racing. And whenever you are like that for a long period of time, mental fatigue does happen because you're turning this truck constantly. You're always constantly worrying about spinning the tires on exit and just overall handling it, and the pit strategy, and it can wear you down. So you just got to stay on top of your game with a mental strategy. And um, that kind of storytelling from last week with the Cody Porter thing, like you expect that kind of story from Bristol, and to hear that come from Darlington's kind of crazy. So that only kind of adds to the excitement of what could we expect here tonight at Bristol, Dustin. Yes, sir. Looks like 20 cars or trucks rather taking the grid for tonight's race. I will run that down. Greg Holt seems to be fast no matter where he goes. We've been to a super speedway mid mile and a half track, and now we're at a half mile. And he's still finding the top five, Dustin. So he's going to take the grid P1. Jeremy Coors, last week's race winner by complete surprise, is going to start second. Josh Benoit is going to be starting third. Jeremy Boucher is going to be in fourth. Fifth place will be Shane Posey. Sixth place will be Braden Carroll. Seventh place will be Tyler Bentley. Eighth place, Jeff Converse. Ninth place will be Scott Martin. 10th place will be Connor Hazel. 11th place will be Bryson Dirting. 12th will be Bradley Brandon. 13th will be Clayton White. 14th will be Holmesy. And 15th will be Andrew Schroeder. Those are the current trucks that did take time. And then the trucks behind them will be Anthony Crownover, 17th, Joseph Kazi, who will be starting from the pits tonight, so that should be a last place start for him. Mark Vega will resume in 17th for that matter. Tim Hendry will be in 18th, and then Richard Malagani will be rounding out the field. Will be taking 19th place when the green flag drops. Yeah, and we got Joseph Causey actually entered the track because he just started pit road, so he's actually only about 10 car lengths ahead of your race leader right now, Jeremy Kors. That's why the 88 is technically in front of the lead pack here, so to speak. So, but yeah, Jeremy Kors, excellent setup. Yeah, he just, he had the preferred line being in second because anybody who's an asphalt fan knows how Bristol runs with that progressive banking to the top. So you just carry extra speed and you choke up the inside line when it comes to drive off. So Jeremy Kors has a great setup as he's displaying right now. And he's actually shifted to the mid-bottom lane. That could be a good thing or a bad thing for these drivers. As we got a caution, Dustin, on the racetrack. Quickly going back, it looks like we see the number 8 truck extra slow. Try to find exactly where this incident took place, and it was the number 8. He did get loose off the exit of turn number 1, in the middle of turn 1 and 2, rather. Just kind of self-spun down to the bottom. Didn't hurt anybody, but it was enough to throw the caution.
All right, and I apologize. Thank you for everybody out there in in broadcast land. Unfortunately, you guys did not get to hear anything that I was saying on that one there for the big race. That was all Jeremy leading that one. It did an excellent job. Thank you, Anthony, and everybody out there. Gotta love technical difficulties on that one there. So yes, again, that first caution does come out. Like I said, Jeremy, we did make it a lot longer and a lot farther than what we did in Darlington there going into turn 1. So what we're going to see now, like we had talked about before, unfortunately, everybody out there didn't really hear, but there are four sets of tires in the pits and 1 set on the trucks. So now what we're going to have is these drivers are going to have to decide when to come into pit and when to take tires. I don't see anybody coming into pits this early in the race. Fuel's not going to really play a factor into it, and nobody is going to waste a set of tires this early on.
Yeah, no, nobody did come down as expected by, I think, almost everybody. It's just way too early. Fuel strategy, you don't know the strategy because you know there's going to be caution. So to kind of play out a fuel strategy right now is almost pointless, at least in my perspective. So yeah, everyone just stayed out. We had that single truck incident. No one was affected, no damage either by the 8 truck that did spin out early. So I think we'll be okay with no one pitting, and everyone's going to be kind of lined up already, ready to go. It's only 7 laps into that run before the caution came out. We got tons of laps to go, and I'm sure everyone is wanting that long run, Dustin. I know they got some stuff to display. Now they know what Jeremy Kors has in stock, so they have to do what they can't do. Maybe save some tires while Jeremy eats his tires alive, and maybe they can gobble them up on the late run or something like that. So early on, Jeremy Kors has definitely got the truck to beat.
Yes. Now, one person who did want to see that caution come out, because Kors definitely did not want to, as he was starting to get in his groove there. But somebody that did want to see that caution come out is the 88 of Joseph Causey. Now, remember, he had to start from the pits, and he was right up there with the race leaders on that one there. So having that caution come out closes him back up to the rest of the field and puts him back into contention now to where he can start working away and start chipping away and doing his thing without worrying about going a lap down or worse.
Yeah, correct. That was perfect timing. He didn't have to waste any tires trying to stay up there. Maybe just a touch, but it was only a few laps. So that was, I mean, if anybody wanted that caution, it was definitely going to be the 88 there. But now he's lined up at the tail end. Very fortunate for him, and now he gets to show the field what he's worth, which he actually stayed ahead of the leader, the 97. So he might actually, Dustin, have a really fast truck for the top 5 anyways. He just has to go through a bunch of trucks to do so.
Yeah, and you are right. And as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing, you see that the 97 of Kors does elect to take that high side, which is no surprise. You see his front heel off the racetrack as Kors leads him off of turn 4. Green flag flies. We are back to racing action. And now we're going to get to see what the 46 of Benoit has on that low line. Now, remember the initial start, the 97 of Kors actually had a leg up over the 3 of Holt on that high side with that progressive banking like you were talking about, Jeremy. And it looks like 97 is going to pick up right where he left off there, and the 3 of Holt is going to try to follow Kors through, but is going to have a little bit of a fight there with the 6 of Benoit on the inside.
Yep, side by side, and that's all Jeremy wants to see as he pulls out to about a 3 truck length now over second, third place entering turn number 1, and now he goes it to about a 4 truck length advantage as Greg Holt's not giving up on the outside there. Still running side by side. That's gonna actually just eat up the tires of Josh Benoit. As you pinch down on the inside of like that, Dustin, you have to turn the wheel just a little bit more, and when you're going this fast on a high bank, that just scrubs away your tires. So that's part of that tire strategy I was mentioning earlier. Is you just kind of have to, sometimes pick and choose your battles. And I don't think right now running side by side with Greg Holt is doing any good for Benoit. I think if you just drop back and ride single file and third for a little bit, you're better off in the long run. But we'll see how that plays out later on in the run. I'm going to check back a little bit back into 7th, 8th, and 9th. They're running a pretty good battle right now. They were almost 3 wide 2 corners ago. Now they kind of spaced out as they done so. That outside early on seems to be the line to beat. But if you have the truck to run the inside to make some ground up, then definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing right now, Jeremy, is again we haven't had a whole lot of laps to get a lot of wear in these tires or a lot of heat, and then we had the caution, which allowed them to cool down a little bit more. I do see a lot of trucks very free coming off the corner, about mid-off. There's a lot of these trucks that are very free or loose going into it. As you see the back end of their trucks kind of kick out a little bit. That is to be expected on this here. Only time is going to tell, though, as we get later on in this race on exactly how these trucks are going to handle. Again, this is an open session. We've got contact there. The 01 goes around. No caution as it sits right now. The 01 was off of the racing surface, Jeremy. We're going to go back and try to find that and see exactly what happened with the 01, and it looked like it was 83 of Shane Posey.
Yeah, 01 just got loose to my knowledge, but you go back and take a double check there. Caution did finally fly after you're going to go back and take a look at that initial one, but 01 just got loose by himself. No contact, but that surprises me because of how he choked up a lot of the field around him. But when the 8 spun out earlier, iRacing decided to not throw the caution, so they're a little bit not on the consistent side per se, but I got to figure out where that other caution came from because that was not a part of that initial spin by the 01.
It looked like it was the 01 did get loose. Shane Posey did not make contact. Excellent heads-up driving by the 83 of Posey to not make contact, but it looked like when the 01 was trying to remerge back on the track, it looked like there was a little bit of contact between him and the 97 that spun the 97 around. The 97 looks like was able to get back going in the forward direction again with minimal, if any, damage on that truck. It still looks like it's in good shape, but that's where that caution eventually did come out.
That's unfortunate. The two Jeremys touch your race leader getting involved in something that he shouldn't have been a part of to begin with. That's super unfortunate, but glad he didn't get any damage from that. I'm sure he's a little red-faced right now because that's something that's they were just 2 trucks by themselves, so I don't feel like that should have been a thing. But he's going to regroup. You've already seen it so far through the first 20 laps. He's got a super fast truck, and I'm almost surprised at that point he didn't take his tires. I do believe green flag or the pit stops are open this time, so he elected not to take the tires. And he did a nice little slide there on the front stretch, so that's got to eat up his tire wear a little bit, but I guess that just shows how confident he currently is with his truck, Dustin.
Yeah, and to reiterate on the events that happened there between the 01 and the 97, Boucher, when he was trying to get back up to speed, it looked like Coors were coming at a pretty good clip leading that race. And it almost looked like that Coors came up on the high side there and almost surprised Boucher a little bit, like he wasn't expecting, because the second that he seen that there was a truck up there, he started pulling down, but it was already just a little too late, as there was already just enough contact to get that truck loose of the 97 and sliding. But like you said, Jeremy, I don't know with the way that this is set to go. I mean, yeah, he spun, but I know drivers were pulling a ridiculous amount of laps on these tires. So, I mean, as long as they're not chewing them up and not racing them real hard. And we've seen the 97 really run that high line there, mid to high as well, and then kind of toy with the low. I don't know if he's really chewed up a lot of his tires. He may be all right with the way that it was there. I mean, he was able to slow it down. So, we'll just have to see. Like you said, time will tell on what's going to go on. But every one of these drivers in these trucks, they know that there's a limit on those tires. So that's always going to be in the back of their minds.
Right. I mean, it's such a far away for the finish. 250 laps, and we're on lap 25 now. So they're only an eighth of the race through. No, not even eighth, like a tenth of the race through. So they got plenty of time, and I'm sure Jeremy will regroup and get back up there. Pace truck is about to dip into pit road here, as once again, Josh Benoit will lead the field. Actually, Greg Holt will do it this time. He liked to do the outside, which is the preferred lane at Bristol, as everybody does know. We're waiting for the green flag, and green flag is out. Greg Holt, a little bit of slow start. I don't know if Josh Benoit just had an early lead there. I think he had the nose over Greg Holt on that restart. We'll see how iRacing calls that. But Greg Holt, as you've seen before when they raced side by side before that caution, they were side by side for a while, and Greg Holt did have the advantage overall. And it looks like it's going to play off again as he's going to get a good run here off the exit of turn 2. Actually, Josh showing some excellent strength there, kind of keeping the same pace as Greg Holt on the bottom. So that just shows how strong his truck is right now. But as the tires get more heat, as we see here, Greg is going to pull away just a little bit further. Josh is a little bit stronger in 1 and 2, but then 3 and 4, Greg, because 3 and 4, Dustin, Bristol, it's a longer corner in 3 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2. So that longer corner is showing its strength there for Greg on that top side. Third place, Bradley's just by himself chilling right now. I'm just going to take it easy, watch these guys go side by side and eat their tires. And everybody else, for the most part, is single file behind them.
Yeah, so as those two are duking it out up there, and Bria Holt finally does prevail over the 46, Jeremy, we fall back to 4th, 5th, and 6th place here. You got the 94 of Braden Carroll. You got the 2 of Connor Hazel. And Luke, who is up there in that 6th position, none other than the 88 of Joseph Kazi. Remember, you have to start the race from the pits. Benefited from that early race caution that we had, and is now finding himself up there. So, Jeremy, we may be seeing something out of this 88 truck before the night's over, as he's working his way up. But like you said, I mean, going further back, you've seen a lot of trucks. It looks like they're racing very, very clean and very smart this week. I think they might have got their fill from last week's Darlington race, knowing that there's 250 laps for this event. They might be kind of taking it easy and kind of picking and choosing what holes they decide to push.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell it to Josh Benoit as he's back to the inside of Greg. I feel like he's got a new set of momentum with him to try to get that race lead from Greg. Greg just comfortably running his line there on the top side. No problem for him. I was going to mention Joseph Kazi right before I passed it off to you that last time there. Joseph's on a mission, starting in the rear of the field. Just extra motivation for him to do so. And before we even hit lap 30, he's already in the top 5 and running super strong right now. So I think once he gets past the next few trucks here and gets that open space to contend with these leaders, if we have a long green run, which actually, never mind, caution is back on the racetrack for the 3rd time. As we go back, it's a multiple truck incident between the 01 and 06 initially. If we take a look at the replay, we'll see exactly what happened.
And that's unfortunate. That's, again, the 01 getting caught up in that. That would be the second caution that he was involved in. As we're watching the 01, and almost exactly what happened in the first caution, gets loose. The 06 of Clayton White T-bones him. The 22 of Rich Malagani ends up getting into the back of the 06. So at least 3 trucks involved in that incident there. And Jeremy, it is safe to say that the 01 of Jeremy Boucher is battling a very, very loose race truck rather, this early in the race. I would definitely see them coming down pits. One, they do have, as we can see the live feed here, does have a lot of rear end damage, a lot of left side damage where the 06 of Clayton White did hit him. Again, there was nowhere to go for Clayton. So definitely going to come down and get some repairs done, but I would almost expect some adjustments on that truck there, because that was almost identical loose going right through the corner, right near the apex.
Yeah, it was almost a picture perfect replay, except for just a little bit further along into turn 2 is when he started really getting sideways. I'm surprised there's not a lot of damage to the front end of the 06 of Clayton White. Even though this is Bristol, aerodynamics are like, what is that, right? You don't need aerodynamics at Bristol. Just for him, he can just strip the whole nose off and be fine. But so either way, he's got a lot of repair done. Hopefully there's nothing knocked out as far as the front toe or anything of that nature. Hopefully nothing wrong with the radiators, fine, or it's all fine rather. So we'll see what that looks like. And they only have a short time to repair too. Is there pace truck's already on turn number 4, exiting it rather, and Clayton White still sitting in pit road, and he is going to miss the pit exit. So for him to sit in pit road and go a lap down like that, there's some heavy damage done internally into that truck. So we'll see when he can exit the pit road. It looks like Jeremy Boucher was able to beat the pace truck out. Let's see if he dips back down into pit road for further repairs. He does not. So it looks like his truck is good to go. As the 06 is still sitting in pit road, so heavy damage done to him. Multiple laps down. It looks like he will be his pace truck. I think we got about 2 laps to go, Dustin, before we hit the green flag. Third place, Joseph Kazi. He went from dead last to third and under 50 laps. And, for a 20 truck field, that is, Dustin, how many times do you see that unless your name's like Kyle Busch, right?
Yeah, and that's very true. So I don't know, maybe a player going to be coming up here and really showing what he's got. I mean, that is our Daytona, our 13 Fallen Heroes 250 winner, the season opener. So it should be a good one to see exactly what he has. He's going to be lining up right behind the 46 of Benoit in that inside lane. I wanted to take a look at that 22 of Rich Malaghani, because I know that the damage that was on the back of the 06, Clayton White, I do believe that was caused because Rich didn't have anywhere to go on that one, but his truck looks fairly clean, so he might have lucked out and got out of that fairly lucky as far as damage in comparison to his 2 counterparts being Boucher and White. As the green flag does fly, we are back to racing. Excellent start by the 46 of Benoit as he clears hold on this, so no side-by-side racing this time around going through. The 46 does move up to that midline there, trying to block that run, and the 88 of Kazi is going to fall in line back behind the 3 of Holt. But Holt's not giving up, Jeremy. He's still going to try to ride out, but with clean track and clean air out in front of that 46, we'll get to see exactly what he has under that truck and how competitive he can be out there. And he's going to have to be, Jeremy, because he's got the 3 of Holt back there and the 88 of Kazi's right there. And Connor Hazel, again, he's been hanging around that top 5. He's solidly in 4th place right now, trying to put some pressure on the 88 of Kazi. And Tyler Bentley in that 55 back there, rounded out your top 5. Again, he's been right around there too, and they are 2 wide back behind him, between the 8 and the 1 being Dirting and Brownover duking it out for that 6th position.
Yeah, I feel like Connor's one of those drivers who just kind of like lays back in the shadows, and we don't talk about him too much mid-race, but he's definitely there toward the end for sure. Josh Benoit, excellent restarts as he's back to the lead, from the initial start. And Greg Holt, I don't know if he's starting to search a little bit or just trying to figure out what line works best, because he did lose the race lead, so he's running a little bit lower minus this corner right here than what he has been doing previously. So I think he might be just doing a little searching just to kind of figure out what's going on and maybe where we can go from here. But 3rd place, Joseph Kazi, running all the way up against that wall, especially in turn 1 and 2 there. I think he's got a comfortable spot, Dustin, to where he's confident. He's sitting pretty right now in 3rd. Doesn't need to push any harder to save those tires, as he's already done the hard work of getting back to the top 5 from starting dead last. Going back to Jeremy Coors, he's making some gains here. He's finally cracked, I think, 6th or 5th place right here as he crosses the line. 3
wide going through that corner.
Looks like it is in 5th place, so he's regained the top 5 after that incident with the 01 earlier on with Boucher. So him making some good gains here. I did believe he took 1 set of tires being in the far back of the field, so I think if he gets 1 more caution, he's going to be back up to the race lead, Justin.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jeremy, I am watching this battle for 6th place right now, 6th and 7th place. Right now, 6th place is held by the one at Crown Over, but it is 2 by 2 by 2 behind him. As the 2 does get in the wall there of Hazel, does slow him up, but these trucks have been going at it now for about the last 4 laps. The cameras have been panned on them as they've been swapping position right now. Dirting and Posey, a little loose back there from the 9, is able to regain it, though. That's Bradley Brandon. But as I was saying, the 8 and the 83 are leading this pack here, trying to battle it out as they're finally starting to settle down, Jerry Corner. So, again, very good racing and very minimal contact, no wrecks. The only thing that you've seen was that 9 of Bradley Brandon get loose back there, but was able to save it and kept going. There's excellent racing. Hard hit into the wall there. Hard hit.
But the 8 truck did stop the wall a little bit too. Going back to the 92, who checked up on the back bumper of the 2 truck. Jeff Converse. I was trying to figure out his nose damage. You definitely got some nose damage running in the back of the 2 truck, and it doesn't look like the water temps have skyrocketed. So I think he's going to be all right. When you do a dead square impact into your nose, you always worry about the radiator overheating the water. Doesn't look like that's going to be an issue after just running a few laps, because you're running, at a slower pace overall compared to like a mile and a half. And so you don't get as much air to the grill. So if your truck's running hot, then Brandon, they go back to single file for the most part until the 8 actually drops back below. Nope, he's going to fight the 48 just a little bit longer, but he does he does fall back behind the 48 at that point in time. So the rest of them are single filed for the most part until you get to 4th place, where Jeremy Kors does take over that position over the 55. So he's a couple spots away, Dustin, from back to where he was at the beginning of this race.
Which is an amazing feat, to say the least. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, he put himself in position last week to win by not giving up. He was involved in that second caution there. Definitely slid the car as they're working their way by the 33 of Ron Holmes. But again, he's running a clean race. He's running a smart race, but he's got a lot of tough trucks ahead of him. I mean, he's fought a lot of tough trucks up to this point, but he's still got a few more to try to go, as he's now forced his way on the inside there, the 88 of Joseph Kazi, as these 2 are going to duke it out and see where we're at on this one here. It's going to be interesting to see, Jeremy, because a lot of the racing that we've seen out of the 97 Fours was on that progressive banking, on that high side there, where he was able to make a lot of moves, and right now that is currently occupado by that 88 of Joseph Kazi.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the fatigue in the tires of Kazi, because he ran so hard to get to where he's at, and now you can definitely tell he's dropped way back from 2nd and 1st place. So fatigue has set in those tires, and so now he just needs a caution. He will take his first set when that caution comes out, just like most others, I would imagine, at this point in the race, to kind of regroup and get back going for that top spot. We know he's got the speed. We saw it. We just got to get a reset point for him, and he'll be up there for sure, as long as he keeps that truck clean there for the most part. They're still duking it side by side, so Jeremy definitely doesn't want to give that up, as he finally had to. There on the exit of turn 2, the truck wasn't completely stable. Excellent run there by the 88 of Kazi, so that's going to regain his spot solely for him. And it looks like everybody else, Dustin's still going around the field. I wanted to make a mention, too, that Clayton White, that last caution, he is still in pit road. So whatever damage was under that truck was huge. As nice.
It was a
probably done
hit
for the most part, unless you get back on and just turn some extra laps for points or whatnot. But everybody else, like I said, single file, running pretty clean overall. They're just kind of hanging out until they have to make their next pit stop.
Yeah, and now we're starting to get into some lap traffic, as you see the leaders of Josh Benoit and Greg Holt do pass the 2 of Connor Hazel, putting him a lap down. But as you were talking about the 06 of Clayton White, I mean, it was everybody out there in fan land seeing how hard of a hit, how hard of an impact it was. I mean, it was a dead nuts on T-bone. So I would have to imagine that there is a lot of damage to the power plant in that truck, the 06 truck of Clayton White. What we're seeing now is, like you said, we're watching the 3 of Holt. These trucks are getting a lot squirrelier now, a lot looser. than what they were at the start of the race. As you had stated, you're starting to see the wear on those tires now. We're pushing lap 72 of 250 right now, so these tires are starting to get some laps on them, and you're going to end up seeing these drivers really chomping at the bit to try to get down pit road to get some fresh sneakers on.
Yeah, they're in desperate need of it for sure, and the trucks will get loose. I mean, the trucks they weigh like nothing basically in the back, and then when you burn the fuel up, that's the only set of weight basically back there for them. So they will definitely get looser and looser at this point in time, unless they're dependent on that front set of wheels, which in that point, like Joseph Kazi, I think his truck was geared more so for the front end drive, and that's just making his truck really tight. It looks like he's definitely not loose at all, and I think he's actually cooled off the tires a little bit, and he's kind of holding his own against Jeremy Kors here, as Kors is still running that inside line, which fewer and fewer trucks are doing so, just because of how the progressive banking works and or how much better it works whenever you have older set of tires on, for sure. Lap traffic for sure. 46 is pulled out to an impressive lead over your second place runner of Greg Holt. Almost a quarter of a racetrack at this point, Dustin. He's definitely showing his strength on the long run for sure. Greg needs to tweak a few things if he wants to contend with these guys on the long run, as well as a few other trucks.
Yeah, it's again, everybody's pretty much waiting for that call to pit road. That's what they're banking on right now. But you were talking about that inside lane. Now, typically that is the case, but with these spring packages that they have in these trucks, you can set it up to be competitive down there. Yeah, is it going to chew your tires a little bit more? Again, a lot of the answer is yeah, but a lot of that can be evened out with your entry, with your driving style as well. As we see the 97 finally jump to that high side. The 06 of Clayton White finally rejoins the racing surface after an extended period in pit road. So again, at this rate, I mean, he's a number of laps down. So he's at this point waiting and just trying to pick up as many laps and as many points as what he possibly can. At this point in time, again, he had some complications at Darlington as well, as many did, in the track being the track, and the league administrators threw another tough, challenging track, which is to be expected at this point in time, because again, they're wanting the best of the best drivers here, so they're going to try to throw everything they can at him as he's back out there on that track.
Yeah, it's good to see for sure. I'm just going over some stats here with these lap times. It's impressive to go from a low 15-second lap time to a high or mid 16-second lap time. So these guys have about fallen off almost a second and a half of pace just between the start and 83 laps in. For a short track, that's, for a whole second and a half, that's pretty impressive how much slower these trucks are in comparison. And that's everybody. That's the race leader. That's the guy in third place, Mr. Kazi. That's quite a few trucks that are back there with the same exact pace. Some trucks look like they're a little bit better geared for the long run. Like Bradley Brandon, his truck's pretty good even after that race incident. The 8 truck's running pretty good at this point, of Bryson Dirting. I feel like he's got some speed, unless he had an early pit stop. I know he's a lap down, but he's contending with the top 10 for sure. So I feel like his truck's doing pretty all right as long as he gets back up to the lead lap, so he can contend a little bit further on. But Josh Benoit, just going back to your race there, just dominant performance. He's over a quarter of a lap now ahead of second place of Greg Holt. As everybody's just running their own thing, the trucks are getting a little more ill handling, whether it's be push tight or loose on exit or whatever the case might be. And so, like you said, they're just playing the sitting game and waiting for that either caution or for the crew tell them to come down pit road.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Benoit is on a rail, but he has something a little bit more. There's a little bit of a traffic jam in front of him with lap traffic. We're going to see exactly how well he can slice and dice to go through here. But it does look like the traffic does realize that there are leaders there. They do give him the lane, and he is working his way through there with with minimal opposition at this point in time. And I would expect nothing less when the 3 of Greg Holt, who's currently in second place, starts making his way through there. But again, he is just... Josh Benoit is, like I said, on a rail. So we're looking at Benoit right now. The camera is going to pan where your second place truck is currently at. We're going to do that at the start-finish line as Benoit crosses it right now. There's Benoit. Right there is your second place. Just now getting ready to come across the start-finish line. So again, you're looking at Benoit's pushing towards half a track lead on his second place competitor, Greg Holt, but Greg Holt's still putting down some fast times.
Yeah, no, he's definitely, compared to third place on back, he's definitely putting down some of the better lap times, which just really shows how fast and how dialed in Josh Benoit's truck is. But I did see Jeremy Course come down a little early, maybe some short pit strategy as he is flying. He just passed Greg Holt, your second place runner right now. As I noted just a little bit ago about the lap time difference, he's going to be running about a second and a half faster than these guys. So he's going to blow past their doors every lap here as he goes around the 33, who's a lap down right now, or a couple laps down, Mr. Holmesy. So Jeremy Course is going to be running the bumper of your race leader probably real shortly, matter just probably 4 or 5 laps at that point. Even though Josh Benoit has got a huge lead. I think he's actually expanded that quite a bit more since he last did the measurement between first and second, which again is really impressive. Time-wise, that's 6.5 second lead over second place Greg Holt. Greg Holt's got just about almost a second lead over your third place Joseph Kazi, and then Tyler Bentley is right on his bumper there for fourth place.
Yeah, and what you're seeing right now is one, you're watching the race between the 88 of Kazi's. The 33 of Holmes gets in the wall a little bit there and tries to get out of the way of the of our current front runners here. We are seeing cycling of green flag pit stops. We're almost pushing lap 100 of 250, Jeremy. So we're near and close to halfway done with this race, and these drivers have been on this set of tires now for quite some time. Some of them elected not to take tires in early caution, so some of these drivers could be pushing 100 laps on their initial set of tires. With that being said, and the race going the way that it is, I would see a lot more drivers, if we do have more cautions, actually utilizing and using those tires up. But I feel that there's going to be a number of them that are going to try to keep some fresh tires just for a late race, green-white checkered, or within the last 20 laps, just so they can have fresh rubber on the track and try to pull the speeds. Because as you were talking about, is Jeremy Coors was flying through a lot of this traffic here because of the tires that he has. So he's a second or more faster as he's getting held up right now by the 8 as he waits for the 8 to move up to go by it. Jeremy, is it me, or does it look like there is a lot of damage on the ass end of that number 97 that wasn't there before?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that same amount of damage, and I don't know where that came from. Honestly, can't tell you which and where that did, but aerodynamics don't usually play a factor, especially on the rear end. Even on the bigger tracks, the rear end doesn't really matter. I see a few more trucks come down, like Andrew Schroeder. He's currently pitting right now. We saw Shane Posey just pit a few laps ago as well. Yeah, some of these guys are on lap 100 without a single set of tires. So that almost tells me they can do it under 2 green flag stops if they, can make it that far. If green flag does, kind of hang out for a bit. It's in the middle of that race, like you said, so that's where the patience is kind of there. Waiting toward the end of the race before they go, full throttle and try to get what they can. But right now they're just kind of chill. Jeremy Coors has made up a lap and then some, as he's already a half a track ahead of your race leader, Josh Benoit. So that definitely, just on that notion alone, shows how much speed he has and how much ground you can make up with just a fresh set of tires. Yeah, he's actually passing Greg Holt again, which I think he literally just did that 2 minutes ago. So that just really goes to show how fast that truck is.
Yeah, and I do believe that, our race leaders are still due for a pit stop here at some point in time. Josh Benoit's still up there. Greg Holt has fallen back to fourth. That allowed the 88 of Causey to take up the second place position right now, with the 55 of Tyler Bentley all over him. And as you had talked about, the 97 of Cruz is right back there, and he has been putting down blistering laps. But you are seeing the difference now that even the 48 of Andrew Schroeder is racing there, but with those fresh tires, that shows how much fresh rubber on these trucks, how much it makes a difference at this track more than anything else. You've seen some battered and beat up trucks. Aerodynamics doesn't matter, but I tell you what, that those 4 Goodyear stickers, that's what matters right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious because if the few leaders, if they can make it to lap 125, that puts them halfway, but so they don't have to go on one pit stop. I don't know if these trucks can go 125 laps. That just seems way outside the playbook. If they can't make it, I don't know why the leaders haven't come down any sooner, because they're just losing straight up ground, you know. It looks like it's going to be a 2-stop race if it goes green the rest of the way, theoretically. So for them to just constantly lose this much ground per lap on these guys who already know they're going to be pitting twice, that might be played not into their favor whatsoever. I keep my eye on the top few trucks, and they have still not come down. Currently, we have 5 trucks on your lead lap. Actually, 6 trucks, rather. So apparently they know something I don't. They got about 12 or 13 laps before they hit the halfway point. If they make it to that distance, Dustin, that's only a 1-stop race, which is quite impressive, like I said, in my playbook anyways. I've never personally won 125 laps at this track, so I know those trucks have got to be feeling terrible. Looking at Greg Holt real quick, the 83 Shane Posey just blowing past him just because the tires are so much fresher. Just, you know, one corner, he's already 4 truck lengths ahead, so I feel like at this point, they know they can make it to lap 125. If not, like, they got some work to do to. I can guarantee you, whenever the leaders pit, they will not be in their spots when they come out back onto the racing surface.
No, and you are. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you come into pit, you know, at Bristol, you're gonna lose a number of laps. I mean, it's these drivers on fresh tires are pulling 14.5, 14.7, 14.8-second laps. I mean, they're putting some time down. I would have to agree, Jeremy. I think that some of these front runners know something a little bit more than what we do, and they may be trying to stretch this to just a 1-stop race as long as it stays green. Now, again, this strategy is going to get thrown straight out the door if there happens to be a caution. But as it sits right now, Jeremy, they're trying to stretch it to a 1-stop like we were talking about. As we're watching a lot of trucks blow by the 46 of Benoit, your current race leader. The 55 of Tyler Bentley does take over second place. I tell you what, he has been on a rail, Jeremy. He's been right there in the top 5, slowly picking them off, and it does look like his truck is a long-run setup truck, as he did pass Joseph Causey about 4 laps ago and has spread that out. So right now, your top 4 are Benoit, Bentley, Causey, and Holt back there. These guys are losing a lot of time. So again, that tells me I agree with you 110% on that, Jeremy. There has to be a strategy on this one here, because these drivers are not just going to willing to lose a lot of time like that without some type of strategy, whether that be a single-stop race or working towards a short pit, a stop and then a short pit. I don't know. That's the funness about racing, Jeremy. You and I both know it's not just getting in a truck or a car and wheeling it. A lot of it's strategy as well.
Absolutely. As we're seeing, the 97 past your race leader, Josh Benoit, he's gained 2 laps back since he made that green flag pit stop. 2 full laps, Dustin, in a matter of 15 minutes? Not even 15 minutes. That has to. They're 5 laps away from getting to that halfway point. So I think they are going to go for that 1-stop run at this point, which is going to play to their favor if a caution were to come out. You know, at that point, because they got so many people a lap down right now, and some of these drivers that have taken the tires early, they now have 20, 30 laps on their set of tires. So they might want to use a secondary set, and if they do, they just lose all that ground that they were going to make up on the leader. So lots of different strategies. Oh, the red truck looks like the 94 gets loose, single file. He's good to go. He's back on the racing surface, no problem whatsoever. That would have been of Braden Carroll. Just lost just a little bit of ground, not too much of a worry there. As they resume green flag, Kazi almost in a 3-wide little stint there with the 8 truck. They go back to single file or double file for that matter. Everybody else is single file as we are about to come up. Yeah, we're on lap 125 now, so that just means it is guaranteed a 1-stop strategy for these race leaders. So anytime from now, Dustin, I would expect Josh Benoit, Greg Holt, Tyler Bentley, I would expect them to come down. And as we see right now, Josh Benoit does make that dip down to pit road on lap 127, just past the halfway point.
So what you're going to see now, Jeremy, and everybody out there watching, is this is a strategy that was planned out. And as commentators, we don't know what the driver strategies are. So we are just as surprised as you are. Jeremy, I'm like you. I did not expect our race leaders to try to push it to a one-stop race. Now, again, if it stays green flag, this is going to pan out very well for your top four. Being right now as it sits, because Benoit's pitting, it's going to be Bentley, Causey, Holt, and Benoit. Because, like you said, all other drivers are out there on 20 to 30 lap older tires and have been really hammering it to try to make up ground. Guess what these four drivers are about ready to come in and get? Brand new, fresh sticker Goodyear tires, and they're going to go out there and haul some ass, and they're going to be able to make up that ground with 20 to 30 lap freshened tires. So as long as it stays green, this may have been a gamble a week early, as next week we're at Vegas, and that's typically where you gamble. This may be a gamble that could pay off for your top four running drivers right now.
Tyler Bentley pulled down to pit road. He is entering the front stretch at this point in time, so he's going to take his green flag stop. Joseph Causey does get a lap led. So these guys need to pit real soon, or they're just wasting extra time. That's a second and a half that they're losing per lap. So these guys need to dip real quick. Greg Holt, caution is out on the racetrack, Dustin. We got someone on the front stretch spun around. That would be the 94 of Braden Carroll. Going back to that. I'm going to take a quick look at that as you get that replay set up for everybody watching. Just got loose again on the entrance of turn number 3. Saves it in the turn 4. Just got real loose off the apron. And then right in front of Jeremy Coors, gets loose. Doesn't collect anybody, thankfully. But that truck was just ill handling for the past 10 laps or so.
Yeah, and the bad thing on this one here is the strategy that a lot of drivers were working up. You might as well just take that piece of paper and throw it right out the window now. Is exactly what you said. Just gets a little loose. Saves it. Does go down on the apron, but it does snap loose again and right in front of 7 of Coors. So, again, very, very tough break. More than 94 going through there. That's Braden Carroll. He was loose a little bit a couple times, but was able to save it. And that one there just too much to hold on to. Probably some wear in those tires, some heat in those tires. It just hitting that apron didn't help matters at all. So again, tough break. But Jeremy, what's this going to do? We know that the top 2 runners right now of Causey and Holt have to pit. There's no doubt about it. Everybody else has pitted. And those are the only 2 that still need to pit. Strategy is completely out the door now. So all those drivers that were holding on to that one-stop race, and a lot of drivers got caught a lap down on that one. It's I don't know. We might as well just take the notebook and just throw it up in the air and just flip a coin and try to call it at this point. As Shane Posey is going to take your race lead, but again, a number of trucks are coming back down. So we're going to take a short commercial break here. Let pit stops go. We're going to come back and see where everybody cycles out. All right, race fans, and we are back live. Thank you again to our sponsors. As you see, the pace lights are out. We do have other sponsors as well. I know you guys didn't hear me earlier because of technical difficulties. I didn't have everything set up after moving my rig. Didn't realize that my input feed was not picking up on my mic. So again, thank you guys for pulling that out. Pace truck is in. And right now, Jeremy, we have the 88 of Causey is out front. 33 of Greg Holt still holding strong. Still looking for a good finish after a couple weeks of not so good of luck. And then we have the 83 of Shane Posey is in that third position. Core's back there as well. As we're again, everything is jumbled up at this point in time, and it's hard telling exactly how this is going to play out.
So I know two drivers who are completely frustrated, not because of what their strategy was, but your former race leader Josh Benoit in second place, former second place Tyler Bentley. They're both a lap down. Right before we went to that caution break, there was a 5-minute gap between when Josh Benoit had 11-second lead over second place to where he went a lap down over just one single caution flag lap just because of how the strategy was playing out. So that's, when something's out of your control like that and it costs you over a lap on the racetrack, that is the most infuriating thing a driver could have happen to them. When you got the truck to beat and now all of a sudden, without anything happening to you, you all of a sudden have to fight to get your lap back. That's just completely crazy in my book. But that's Bristol for you. That's just one of the excitement factors of this racetrack, or lack of excitement for that matter, depending on who you're talking to at that point. Because Joseph Causey just basically got handed your race lead. Greg Holt was able to. He made that pit stop right before, and he was able to get the wave around just by natural of everybody else pitting, so he was able to get back on that lead lap. But him and Shane Posey, you're only 3 trucks on your race lead lap right now. You got about 6 trucks that are 1 lap down, and everybody else is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 laps down behind them. So only 3 trucks currently on your race lead. If there's another quick caution, I don't expect that to maintain that particular path right now. Jeremy Coors is holding your lucky dog spot. And he's fighting Anthony Crownover for that spot, which he's about 10 truck lengths ahead of him, so no pressure initially right now to do so. He's just kind of run a good, solid, smooth line, and should be able to get that position because I know his truck's been fast overall on the short and long run, so I don't see that being an issue of him trying to pick up that lucky dog spot there if the caution does happen to drop. But yeah, that one-stop strategy for Mr. Benoit and Tyler, it's not going to work out. They have to pit again. There's just I don't think there's a way for them to not pit and get back to where they need to go because they're going to need those fresh set of tires, Dustin.
Yeah, they're going to. And I tell you what, Jeremy Coors' biggest fan right now, besides Scott Martin from Martin Sports, is the one of Anthony Crownover, because he is hoping right now that Coors can get by the 88 of Causey right now to try to get that lap back that would potentially put the one of Crownover in contention for that lucky dog. But like you said, I mean, that strategy was gone, and we had stated it before that caution came out that as long as it stays green flag racing, that strategy was going to work out. But if a caution happens to come out, it was going to jumble everything up, and that's exactly what it did. And at this point in time, those drivers that were not hoping for a caution, being Benoit and Bentley company, they're now hoping for a caution at some point in time because they want to try to be able to make some of these laps up and try to get by. So the tides have turned on this one here as we've seen a big stack up there as drivers were going by lap traffic there. And I don't know, Jeremy. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we're just over 150 laps, so we've got just under 100 laps, roughly right around 96, 97 laps. And there's still a lot of racing left. There's still a lot of stuff that could happen. I mean, take a look at what happened last week as the 83 of Posey gets way loose. That is your third place truck. Looked like he got on the apron there, exiting the corner a little bit. The truck contact made between him and the one of Crownover as he was merging back up on the track. Crownover keeps the truck going with just a little bit of side scrape, which is nothing different than what happened in Darlington. Just like the Darlington stripe, the Bristol's got its own stripe as well. It's not uncommon for these drivers to scuff the wall.
Yeah, iRacing's crash physics aren't up to realism standards. So the one of Anthony Crownover, he did tag the right rear quarter panel of Shane Posey, which in a normal scenario, crunching in that left front so hard to the right rear, that would cause massive tire rub no matter what car you're driving in if it has a fender on the front. But in this case, there's nothing of that nature. There's no tire rub, so he's clean. He's good to go. No problem whatsoever. Should not affect anything as he does get back around Shane Posey at this point now. Just clearly has a little bit of better of a truck. Shane Posey starting to fall back just a little bit more. Greg Holt and Joseph Kazi just kind of have the two trucks to watch. Joseph Kazi almost has he's got 3/4 of a second of a lead over Greg Holt, second place runner in the third truck, or the three truck rather. Outside of that, Josh Benoit has regained fifth. He's one spot underneath Jeremy Kors, which that is your lucky dog spot at the moment. So those two trucks in particular needed to get everything they can. 97's got a really good spot right now, so Benoit's got some work to do if he wants to get back to that spot, which I know he does because he definitely, at least on the long run side of things, has the truck to beat. But as I say that, you got the 97 of course, who's actually contending to actually pass your race leader right now, which would put him on the lead lap, Dustin. And if he does that, then it's just going to gift Josh Benoit that lucky dog if the caution does come out. And it looks like he's trying. He's dipping his nose just a little bit lower on the entrance there and seeing if there's any mistake there from the 88 to get that spot back to him.
Yeah, and these drivers know that. They know where their position's at. They know where the lucky dog position's at. And like I said, right now that 97, it's changed a little bit now that Crownover has been overtaken by Josh Benoit. Right now, Coors' biggest fan is that 46 truck. In the back of his mind, he's rooting for him right now. You know, get by the 88, get by Kazi, because if the caution would come out, that would put two very fast trucks back on that lead lap again. One being Coors the 97, and then again it would put Josh Benoit right back in there in the action as the lucky dog recipient. But again, stranger things have happened. I mean, we've seen the strategy that looked like on paper was gonna pan out. It's gonna be done very well. As long as a caution didn't come out, we've seen that those plans got dampened when the caution came out.
100%, as there's a couple battles on the racetrack, and the one I'm just watching is the 97 and the 88 because that has huge implications for Josh Benoit or for Jeremy Kors, depending on if a caution does fly. So Jeremy he's very persistent. He wants that spot. But I guess looking in the mirror of Kazi has caused Greg Holt actually just to be a few truck lengths behind. So he's reeled in your race leader as well. So now it's a 3-truck battle with different agendas for each truck behind the 88. So this should cause some interesting racing, I would imagine, just because of the different strategies going on right now and where they need to be. Kors does look back to the inside there. Does not get anything off of turn 3 and 4. Just because it's a longer sweeping corner. The 97 does look pretty good in the turn 3, but you just cannot get any drive off of turn 4. Just because of how the progressive banking in Bristol work just overall. I do see a lot of rubber buildup on the top side of the track, surprisingly, so it doesn't look like they're running too high up on the track unless you're to the very center of the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The entrance, I sometimes I see some trucks run really high up like the Kyle Larson line, but I don't see that right now. It just kind of looks like the middle to upper portion for the most part for these drivers. Everybody else going through the field real quick on my end. I don't see any else racing side by side really, so it's just the top 2 trucks plus Kors is going to be what to keep your eyes on. Actually, 97 Kors did pit as I was cycling around, so he's going to take some fresh set of tires and change up his strategy, it looks like.
Yeah, it's right when they were in the middle of the battle, and it was a very fast pit entry, and I'm not talking fast as in speeding. He definitely pulled it down to hit that pit entrance with precision on that one there. It caught me off guard as I was watching. it happened so fast, I almost didn't catch it out of the corner of the live feed there as he pulled it in. Now, again, he's going to have some fresh sneakers on his car. But Jeremy, we have about 75 laps left. So, again, we've seen drivers stretch this 125 laps. So he could be out there and really start putting it down. As you see, he pulls up right in front of our race leaders, Causey and Holt. And with all the racing that Causey was doing with Coors, a 97 car that's pulling away now, that's allowed Holt to close in on his back bumper. And I tell you what, I mean, Holt is a driver with renewed passion and drive right now. He didn't have the best of luck. He had a fast truck at Daytona. Didn't have the best of luck there. Had a fast truck at Darlington. Of course, we know the incident that happened on the final lap in turn 3 at Darlington. With him, he's got something to prove, and he is pushing it hard. As you see, we are looking from the gearbox or the rear bumper right now of the 88 of Causey. As these drivers are really racing. You see the 83 of Posey going on the inside with a fresh set of Goodyears. So he's putting down some pressure and some fast laps. But I tell you what, if Greg Holt keeps pushing the way that he does, Jeremy, I could see as long as he can hit his marks going through a corner, and even if there's just a single slip up from the 88 of Causey, he's got the truck to take the lead as he dives to the inside, going into the corner there. Really tries to push it through, but again, that high side's so strong. But Greg has got such a good dive in that he gets such a good bite. He loses it on the exit there. As you see, a little bit of net code going between those two. But now these two are going to duke it out and see exactly what they have as the 3 of Holt finally does pull back in behind the 88 of Causey.
Yeah, he tried it for a few laps, gave it a run for his money to see what he's worth, and just not there right now. Greg has been running that upper middle line this whole race, so for him to dip down low, it's just him searching and see what he's got. He does dip down once again. Maybe he's got another thing of momentum here, as he's maybe hoping the 8 truck will give him a little bit of a pick and roll in that Performance Sim Sport Toyota right there. As they go almost 3 wide with the 8 truck, they will go 3 wide. Does not seem to affect the 8 or the 3 truck rather, just because he got pinched down there with the 88 regardless. So that's a tough corner to make the inside, or both corners for that matter. It's really tough just to make that run overall, especially later in the run with how tight these trucks sometimes get depending on the setup. So as he does another dip down low, he's definitely got the faster truck. There is no doubt about it. He just has to play patient. Hopefully doesn't make a mistake. And that'll gift him that spot. And actually gets a little loose and makes contact with the 88. 88 does save it a little bit, but does take this spot away from Joseph Causey. That was the lightest of touches. Maybe that net code got a little bit involved. We're not too sure there, but it allowed just enough contact to get the 88 upset and takes that spot, Dustin.
Yeah, we're going to go back and take a look at that. We were actually on board with a 3 of Holt on that one, and it did look like that he was trying to use the 2 of Hazel as possibly a pick, like he had the lap before with the 8 of Dirting, and it didn't look like it just ever slightest bit of caution. And Jeremy, that one there possibly could have been a little bit of net code. You know, iRacing struggle with net code. That struggle's been there since NR2K3 back Irish days. And that one there, we've seen those two get close before, and the net code connection on that one there possibly could have been as well. We know how Greg Holt races. I mean, he's a clean racer. He's been in a situation to where contact's been made, it's cost him a race. So it's not the way that he would race anybody. That one there, I just think was close, hard racing because they've been duking it out for a number of laps. And I think Netcode possibly played a little bit of, from the angles that we had, possibly played a little bit of aggressor in that one there being the Netcode.
Yeah, I mean, he could have given a little more space, but at the end of the day, he's been trying for the past 15, 20 laps, so he was just trying to get every inch of that track possible to get to the middle line and try to run a better run off the exit of the corner, and just got a little too close, and then the game decided to finish it off from there. So I've got a little bit of a checkup on the front stretch. The 1 and the 8 tangle up. 4 trucks involved. The 9 truck going almost over the catch fence, Dustin. He is now turtled on the inside lane there as he rolls up against the inside wall.
So the big one in terms of Bristol, as big as what it can be, typically we don't see a wreck this size, but a lot of carnage in this one. As we are going to go back on that race replay and see if we can't find out exactly what happened. As we're watching the 8 right now, 8 tagged the wall, won a crown over, couldn't check up, nobody behind, and oh my goodness, the 9 went for one hell of a ride, almost popped like a piece of popcorn over a hot open flame. I can't say that the physics are 100% on that one there, but we're gonna go into an in-car on that one, as I believe that was the 92 of Jeff Converse that got into the back of the 9. We're actually going to go in truck on that one and see exactly what happened in front as it plays out, as we are under another caution for the night. So you see the carnage stacks up and T-bones, and that's not good, as you see the RPM on that 92 is completely down. So the 92 of Jeff Converse has a grenaded engine. And as you've seen from our end, ladies and gentlemen, there was not a whole lot of place that he could go on that one, as the trucks were going straight and then all of a sudden happened right in front of him. So tough break for a lot of really fast trucks, Jeremy.
Yeah, the 92 basically pulled out the sand wedge and chipped over the water hazard to to land the 9 truck upside down. That was huge, and that's one of the things that iRacing has not fixed. Is there's no way for a truck to hit the wall like that and just grab onto it solidly like that. They should have bounced off the wall on the outside, kicked to the inside. Wouldn't have been nearly as bad, but that wall said, "You are mine, and I'm going to hug you." And then the 92 said, "Nope." Sand wedged him over the water, and both the nights are officially done. It looks like a lot of trucks have come into pit road. The 46, your fast truck runner of the night, he had a little bit of damage in that wreck too. He only had some minor front end damage, just a slight contact as the trucks were starting to pile up. I think he'll be just fine. Just some cosmetic work. It's Bristol. It doesn't not matter, as long as the radiator's clean. But that's also, again, what Josh Benoit wanted to see, because that puts him as your Lucky Dog recipient. He will be back with the top 4, which will have the only 4 trucks as your current race leaders at the moment. Everybody else is 1 or 3 or more laps down. Jeremy Coors, he made 2 of his laps back already. When he came back out of pit road out of that early pit stop around 1 lap 75, he went down to 3 laps and he's back to 1, Dustin. So that just shows how that strategy was going to play out for him if it remained green the rest of the way. Now he just needs to kind of rat it out and get maybe 1 more caution onto his favor so he can get back on the race lead.
Yeah, so again, you can see how this is all playing out with everything. So it's, as you see, the pace lights are off of the pace truck. I do want to, again, shout out to some of the sponsors we didn't get a chance to as we're getting ready to go back green. Martin Sports, again, just came on board for fuel. They have some excellent products, ladies and gentlemen. A number of the drivers out there, last week's winner, Jeremy Coors, is a big supporter of the gloves, and he openly stated that he hates gloves but loves utilizing those. Obviously helped him out get a victory last week, so check him out. That's martinsportsapparel.com. Again, we do want to thank Butt Kicker. Use promo code Fired Up to get 20% off of your order. Going through Butt Kicker, again, excellent product as well. Sticker Cabana, we want to thank them. Hideaway Cove Campground, we want to thank Hideaway Cove Campground as well. And Hideaway Motorsports and Nerditude. So again, I'm shouting those out because unfortunately you guys didn't get a chance to hear those, and I want to give credit where credit is due. Thanks to technical difficulties, but again, we will be having those logos. We didn't get a chance to get them up this week, but we will be having new logos and new segments for next week's race. So all you sponsors, sit tight, because we'll take care of you. It'll be sexy, trust us.
Yeah, don't question Mr. Dustin here when it comes to that. He backs up his word, so we'll definitely get that corrected for you for next week for sure when we get that technical difficulty resolved. But we got another caution on the track, Dustin. Got to go back and try to figure out where that was. It wasn't initially in my camera view. As I was cycling through real quick here, still don't see it at the moment. Looks like the number 2 truck actually there. That'll be of Connor Hazel. He was around on the inside on the front stretch, loose off the exit of turn 4 and hits the inside wall pretty decently heavy. Almost came up and hit the 06 there of Clayton White as he just barely squeaked by on the outside line there. And that was the only truck really involved, was just the 2 truck. Just some nose damage. Pretty decent heavily hit though, but as far as the crash physics are concerned, his nose looks relatively clean for that impact, so I don't think it might be too bad for him when he gets back up in pit road for those repairs.
Yeah, unfortunate break for the 2. I mean, you remember that he had been running up around the top 5, top 7 all day long, up to 4th. So, I mean, he'd been having a good race. It's unfortunate. Again, looked like he had had some scuffles with the wall a little bit there, had some rear end damage. That's not something that he wanted to see happen. Somebody who did want to see that happen, though, was the 97 of Jeremy Coors, as I do believe he was was he the first one to lap down, Jeremy?
Almost. Anthony Crownover got him barely. So Anthony will be that spot for the 5th place on the race lead section there.
I apologize on that, Anthony. I was working on trying to get the replay back. I'm not trying to take credit away from you by any means. You definitely earned that lucky dog spot. But again, so the 97 of Coors didn't want to see that because he wanted to try to get back to the bumper of the night of the 1 of Crownover. But that's definitely something that number 1 truck definitely wanted to see. That Pro Red Esports entry now receiving the lucky dog on that one there. So Jeremy Coors comes up just short again. It seems like his timing with a couple things and trying to receive that lucky dog to get him back on the lead lap into contention. Just coming up short for the 2nd time tonight there, Jeremy.
He's the only one lap down. The next person back is Bryson Durning at 3 laps down. So if there is one more caution, it is only going to be awarded to Jeremy Coors as long as he keeps it straight and doesn't spin out or anything of that nature. So we'll see how that goes. It's Bristol, so I would imagine at least one more caution will show its face. As we got about a lap or 2 left before we go green flag. Your race leader will be Joseph Kazi once again. Greg Holt will be probably to his inside there once ever they decide what line to go with. Tyler Bentley will be 3rd, and Josh Benoit and Anthony Crownover will be your top 5 heading into the green,
So
which will
Jeremy,
be... Go ahead.
So with that, as we're getting ready to go green, this is a perfect time. They don't call it Thunderdome for nothing. I think this is the perfect time to let the fans out there enjoy the sounds of nerds, the nerd-enhanced racing decibels, and really let these motors really scream at you. What do you say?
Let's go.
Green, green, green.
We are going to cut that short as another caution comes out. Jeremy, what exactly happened on that one there? It looked like the drivers got off to a good start, and then all hell just broke loose.
Yeah, so in turn number 3, Greg did come out with the race lead. Got loose on turn 2. It kind of started, but then when we got to turn 3, the truck just completely went around. I don't know if there was a flat tire or whatnot. And that was a massive checkup for 4th place, 6th place, and whatnot. So Jeremy Coors got a little loose, got into the break, and actually got some help by the 46. So they made 2 trucks go around. 48 hit the back of the 3, and then whenever the the 46 of Josh Benoit, the 97 of course, got back up on the racing surface. It collected the 8 truck, and he went around. So we had 4 or 5 trucks. I got some damage out of this one. Just kind of that domino effect. You had one truck spin out in front of the rest of the field, and you can't really hit the brakes that hard in a high banked, sharp corner like that without anybody else, having a little bit of an issue. So, yeah, just terrible luck there by the 3 truck, which caused a few other incidences for other trucks out there.
And going back and looking at the replays, we are under caution on this one, Jeremy. What I seen was, people did wreck. There was some contact, but it could have been a whole lot worse than what it was. A little bit of contact by the 3 in the wall. The 97 got split. A little bit of damage there. The 8 hit the wall, but the 3 was able to dodge the 8 on that one. The 48 was able to dodge the 8 on that one. So, there was some contact and some damage on that one there, but Jeremy, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Oh, for sure.
Great heads-up driving.
Yeah, excellent heads up by these guys. That's for sure. There could have been at least 3 more trucks that could have been involved, but excellent observation of what was going on ahead of them. Got on the brake early enough or ducked down low enough to avoid whoever they needed to. So, yeah, excellent job by these guys out there for avoiding that one.
So we're seeing some trucks start to dive down pit road to come to the service of their crews. As you see, some of the trucks that are still in pit road there, unfortunately, the 92, that was the earlier caution. That's Jeff Converse, who decided to really take his driving club right to the 9 of Bradley Brandon, which comically sent him skyrocketing like something I've never seen before, Jeremy. So again, unfortunate carnage, but again, not something that is not uncommon for Bristol. Again, they always said, and growing up when I first got into NASCAR, is if you had a clean car at Bristol, you did something wrong. You weren't racing hard enough. You didn't do what you were supposed to. So, it's not uncommon to see it here, much like what it was last week when it came to Darlington. So it's going to be interesting enough to see exactly what these trucks have in store. And Jeremy, something else I'm telling you, is we're working our 7th caution. Not bad for a Bristol race. 7 cautions here is we're working lap 212 of 250, so we only have 38 laps, 37 laps or so to go in this race. And Causey has been doing an excellent job. Benoit is up there now. You see the 55 of Tyler Bentley is up there still trying to challenge. Greg Holt and Anthony Crownover up there as well. So again, excellent start by the 88 of Causey on that one. Is the 55 of Bentley jumps to the high side, but that allows that 46 to come through. Jeremy, this is the biggest burst of speed we've seen this 46 have, and he's coming in with a renewed vigor, so to speak, after finally getting back on the lead lap there. And it doesn't appear that damage to the front nose is slowing him down at all. So all seems well, at least visually to us up here in the booth, for that 46 of Benoit.
Yep. His truck's just running as smooth as ever, it looks like at this point, damage or no damage. He's got that long run truck, but he definitely needs to show a little bit of speed to get around Mr. Causey if he wants to go back to where he was previously before he fell out of the race lead with that pit stop. So he's got the truck. He's inching up on Causey here lap by lap. He's running pretty low around the racetrack and still making time, so you know that truck's dialed in for sure still late into this run. Greg Holt and Anthony Crownover kind of falling back a little bit of wayside. That could be for strategy on tire saving, or it could be just muscle between Josh Benoit and Joseph Causey, as Josh is there. Another lap or two, he might be on the inside fender of Causey. We'll see how that goes. If we got the 2 on the inside, so he's going to forego the bottom run this time, forced to run the middle of the top way. Clears the number 2. No issue there. We'll see if the 46 gets a good run to the corner. He does take a low entry again. Yeah, I think he's going to be there in a few laps, but as we saw Greg try to do that with Causey as well, it sometimes get pinched down there and there's just no drive off the corner, Dustin.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing, and you know the 88 of Causey knows that, so what you're going to do is you're going to see the 46 inch closer and closer as it does get that run going down the back stretch there. Still has that nose on the inside as we're watching from the gearbox of the 88 there, and I'm telling you, Jimmy, it is just nothing but full of Toyota Tundra green and some gnarly looking teeth. And I'm telling you, that's probably not what Kazi wants to see right now. But Kazi's a cool cat. He knows how to handle things under pressure. And he knows that the 46 is going to race him clean. But I tell you what, this right here is a hell of a battle that's going on for first place. As these two are duking it out.
They've already went to war, basically. Kazi, as we mentioned at the very beginning, he did start from pit road. Currently running your race lead, and then second place halfway through the race got put multiple laps down just because of pit stops and strategy fell. So they both regrouped from that, and now they're running first and second place. So it's just a battle of who's got the better truck right now. And we got about 26 laps to go as they come to the start-finish line this time around after the exit turn number 4. And I think, personally, at this point in time, I think Josh needs to just let the tires run its course a little bit more because we know how dominant his truck is late in the run. And I think his lap times will speak for himself. But he's running a little aggressive right now. He definitely wants that race lead and just pull away for sure.
Well, and he knows that time is running out. I mean, Jeremy, you know as well as I do, they got 25 to go right now. Just passed it a half a lap ago. At 15 seconds a lap, 25 laps doesn't last that long. Josh knows that he's got to go. He's got to make a move here. And what he's doing is he's trying to prep and set the 88 up right now. Now, whether or not that is going to work out, like we said, I mean, Kazi, he's been to victory lane once this season already at Daytona. He knew where to put his truck. He knows how to race. He was very competitive at Darlington. So whether Benoit trying to prep him and set him up, if it'll work or not, but you got to give credit to the 46 truck for at least trying. And he's going to give it everything he has. Tyler Bentley is sitting comfortably right now, and at least for the moment, in third place is the 3 of Greg Holt is regrouping after the last incident there that brought out the last caution, and he's going to start putting some pressure on him. So Greg Holt looking to possibly start to battle for that third position. So we're going to have a couple battles going on here as we're coming up to 20 laps to go.
Yeah, I think he was, like I mentioned, he fell back kind of early alongside with Anthony Crownover, and I think he was just kind of saving him tires, but he is being held up by the 55 at the moment from progressing into third place. Looking back at his lap times, he hasn't fallen off as much as some of the other trucks here in the top 5, so I think once he clears the 55, he's going to try to put every ounce into his truck to get back up to your race lead, as the two leaders are currently side by side here. Josh Benoit with the best look of the night, gets really close to the bumper of the 88, checks up the 88, thinking he might make some contact, and they're still side by side. Entering turn number 1 here. This is the best chance for the inside line to make a run, and actually just can't get that drive up. He actually hugs the inside line just a little bit much, and he's definitely putting the pressure on the 88, Dustin.
Yeah, and again, it's the 46 knows where his truck is at. Josh knows where his truck is at. The 88 of Kazi knows where his truck is at. When it comes to this one right here, these two trucks are so close in speed. The 46 may have the 88 eked out just a little bit, but Jeremy, they are so close. Benoit is trying to get by him, but he's also trying to do what drivers typically do. You try to punk them. You try to get them to make a mental mistake by pushing them harder than what they're wanting to be pushed. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But either way, we're seeing a hell of a battle right now between the 88 of Kazi and the 46 of Benoit. And we're also seeing a hellacious battle is the 3 of Holt is now still looking on the inside of the 55 of Bentley. And these two have been duking it out as well. This is one of Bentley's strongest runs that he has had this season so far. Again, this is only race 3, but he's been right up there in that top 5 all race long. So definitely showing his muscle, and definitely a very solid run nonetheless, and a great run still right now for the 3 of Holt. Anything better than what the last 2 weeks have done, being Daytona and Darlington, would be a great run for Holt, because he's just, again, recipient of just wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's hard to take your eyes off of Tyler Bentley and Greg Holt, but I'm just watching Josh Benoit. He's actually shifted up to a little bit of a higher groove here, and actually runs a little bit higher than Kazi this time around, and that truck is definitely showing its power on the high side. It's just congested full of the 88's orange and green truck. So as he runs a little bit more of a diamond there in the corner, he has to get that mistake made by the 88, or has to change something up here, or else he can't do it. He's got 10 laps to figure it out, Dustin. As you see him, a little bit more of a diamond entrance there, which he is changing up. It's giving some better drive off the corner. It's just that inside checkup when he does cut down to the bottom. It's definitely making him lose some time. But he is running about, a couple feet off that bumper, the 88. And as we got the lap truck here, the 33 coming into play, let's see how this does as far as maybe a strategy move by Josh Benoit.
Yeah, as you see, the 33 of Ron Holmes does stay to the high side. That does force the 88 to go down low, and an excellent run by the 46. But again, it's the drive off that kills him. Is he has to check up, but this one here, he was able to maintain his nose on the inside. This is some of the best pressure over the last. Oh, contact made. Both trucks loose. Both trucks save it as they continue driving. That was a hellacious save, almost simultaneous slides, and they both saved it. And ladies and gentlemen, they just pick up right where they left off.
And a caution is out on the track. Holmesy does spin out right after we just watched them epically save both their trucks synchronized. 33 was checking up for the two leaders who were potentially going to be spinning out, and then Greg Holtz, who was trying to battle the 55 as hard as he could, just did not want to lose that ground and got into the back of 33 just enough to kick him around sideways, and it did bring out the 8th caution of this evening.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of battlement was going on, and like you said, the 33 at that point in time of Holmes seen that those two trucks were sideways, so he was checking up to try to see what was going on. The unfortunate thing is the 55 of Bentley and the 3 of Holt were, again, in their own side-by-side battle, and were focused on not making contact with each other and didn't realize that the 33 of Holmes was slowing up to check up for those other two. But I tell you what, it's excellent job by those drivers there. That could have been way worse. And what a bit of wheel work by the 88 of Kazi and the 46 of Benoit. It's contact was made. They both came together. They both got sideways. They both saved it and picked right up where they left off. So hell of a bit of driving.
Absolutely. Watching the top 5, they all do decide to pit. They know Jeremy Kors is going to come back to your Ricky Dog recipient. That's going to put 6 trucks currently on the race lead. Gonna be fun to see Mr. Kors get one more stab at it, as it's basically going to be almost a green-white checker. They should have about 3 solid green flag laps on this restart. I know the drivers probably have 1 or 2 more sets of tires minimum, so they can expend one of those tires, or sets of tires rather, and get back at it. We got quite a few trucks taking that wave around, about 5, 6, 7 trucks it looks like, or actually about 4 to 5 rather, after doing a recount there, that they're going to take that wave around and get what they can back and see what they can't get, if there's any points at this spot in time to gain. But 6 trucks now should be a lot of fun to watch. I think I think Josh Benoit needs the best restart in his life if he wants to take over Kazi for that top spot, because actually they changed? They did change spots. Josh Benoit did get the run off the pit road, actually, so he will be a race leader, so that's huge. So in that case, I expect Josh to take the top side, and I guess Joseph is now going to need the best restart of his life to make sure he gets back to that spot.
Yeah, so again, it's that caution comes out, and you see the 46 diving up to that high side, just as we had figured that it was going to happen, giving him that preferred line. Again, that inside line is so hard to drive off of. Jeremy, when we get it back, we're going to essentially a green-white checkered as it's going to sit out, and anything can happen on this one. You got the 46 of Benoit, who's been strong and fast. You got the 88 of Kazi, who essentially, compared to some of the other trucks, has kept himself out of danger and has a fairly clean truck. You got the 55 of Bentley, right there as well. You got the one of Crown Over and the 97 of Coors right there. A lot of fast trucks as green flag does fly. Excellent start by the 46. That's exactly what he needed to get clear of that 88 and get into some open track. As these drivers are going, 88 of Causey does take that second place and is making a run back. The one of Crown Over does get by the 55 of Bentley, and now Bentley is under attack by that 97 of Coors. As we're coming up on that final lap, Jeremy, we're on the final lap right now. The 88 is going to make one final charge to try to get by that 46. I don't know if he's going to have enough, as the 46 will take the checkered flag for the first time this season. 88 of Causey comes up in second place, and Anthony Crown Over, what a comeback on that one there, does finish in your final podium position.
My eyes got wide on that restart. It looked like the 46 had an electric vehicle. Man, he had a Tesla underneath him when he hit that go pedal. There was just nothing but torque, and he just took off. That was surprising. Not a single ounce of tire spin. Really well job done by Josh Benoit for sure. That was the best restart of his life. I would imagine so, because we know Causey was right there. He was going to do something, but you can't battle whenever that kind of restart happens. That was an insane restart by Benoit, secured that victory. Excellent job by him.
Yeah, that was, again, if he had to pick one time to have the best restart of this race, it was that time there, and he had an excellent restart. And it looked like it caught the 88 of Causey off guard a little bit there, because it took Causey about a lap to regain and come back up to start challenging, but the 88 was coming. Joseph Causey was coming there. He just didn't have enough. That open air, we seen it earlier in the race with the 46. When he got out in the open, it was, I mean, that's all it was. You know, he needed that open track there, and he had nothing but open track in front of him. So that played out perfectly. The strategy almost didn't work out for him as much, as you see him pulling a Polish victory lap, which was made famous by the number 7 of Alan Kulwicki here at this track. Again, his one-stop strategy almost didn't work out, but I tell you what, I mean, he worked it at the end. Excellent job by the 88 of Causey, trying to make that late race push. Great rebound by Anthony Crownover, who had been involved in a couple things, and again in the wrong place at the wrong time, but much like Coors, found himself in that top 3 as you see a reverse Polish victory lap. You see a reverse victory lap, rather, of the 1 of Anthony Crownover as the 46 was going by. Tyler Bentley, we've been in the top 5 all race long, does finish in the top 5 and 4. Solid effort, great turnout for that 55 team. And Jeremy Coors, again, with the issues that he did have that cautioner or that contact early in the race. It didn't have him slide. He was off pace a little bit, or not off pace, but he was his pit strategy was different than everybody else's. Kept trying to fight to get that lucky dog. Kept coming up just short, so it didn't quite work out, but he was able to finish out in that top 5. So with that said, Jeremy, I think it's time we need to start talking to some folks, because that was one hell of a race that we just had.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we got to get Anthony out of his truck there. He just keeps going backwards around the track. Let's see if maybe we can grab him. I don't think he's available at this time because he's busy doing what he's doing on the racetrack. But it looks like, go down the list here, see who's available at this time. I don't think anyone's currently available at this second, Dustin. They're all actually, it looks like we have Benoit. Looks like he's now just available, your race winner. That's the first person I do see available, so I'm actually going to bring him in just a little early into the booth here. Race winner, congratulations, Mr. Josh Benoit. Do you have a copy?
Copy. How are you guys?
Yeah, that was an excellent race that we get the broadcast tonight. So you had a good strategy. You guys surprised us with that one-stop green flag strategy, which it seemed like to us at the beginning there. And then when that caution came out, you fell into the worst possible scenario, falling a lap down. How did you feel after that? And did you think you could get back up there?
One thing I noticed about racing tonight is it was hard to pass. Me and Causey went back, and I tried. I had a little bit fresher tires than he did there at the end, but I could not get around him. He was fast. When I went a lap down, I was like, oh, That caution was the worst caution. Came out at the worst time. But yeah, I was gonna one stop it. I went 132, I think, my first run, and I was gonna try it at least.
Yeah, you and a couple of people were going to try that. A couple of people recognized after they got past lap 125 that they had to dip for that one lap thing, and then I'm surprised that you didn't dip any sooner. But you still were able to have the dominant truck out there and make it happen. Crew did a hell of a job on that pit stop to get you that race lead over Kazi. And then I don't know if you have like an electrical engine on in that rear gear, but that last restart, what was your plan on that? Did you start in first gear? I didn't think you would have, but like that was a really strong second gear restart without any tire spin.
The pit stop, where I was able to get in front of Causey, I took 2 tires. I gambled. I had to try something different, and the left sides didn't really wear like the right sides. And I'm like, all right, let's try it. There's going to be a green-white checkered, and I took 2 tires, got in front of them, and I was able to hold them, and it paid out.
It paid out. That is an understatement there, Mr. Benoit. I tell you what, there was excellent racing all the way around. Nothing short from what we would expect from the Thunderdome itself. Coming up there before that caution came out, that last caution that set up the pit stops that did get you the race lead coming out of there, there was a little bit of contact between you and Kazi. You guys have been running close. The cameras were glued to you guys just because of the racing. You two, and then Holt and Bentley. And there was a little bit of contact, and you both got sideways and saved it, and we're going to continue racing. What was going through your mind at that point in time, the second you knew that contact was made? Because like any driver, I know that you and Kazi both knew when it was, and you seen your truck slide and his truck sliding. What was going through your mind at that point in time?
The pucker factor. If I had one of them oh shit handles, I would have been grabbing it. We were both sideways, and then we regained control, and then we were able to keep racing. And then I think if we would have kept racing, it would have been exciting. It would have been exciting. Two heck of a drive from Causey to able to freaking maintain control of that truck like we were side by side. It was exciting.
It looked amazing on the camera. I mean, not amazing that you guys were sideways. I mean, nobody wants to see trucks sideways, but I mean, the way that you guys handled that was unbelievable. And it happened live as the cameras were on there. So, I mean, it was just an unfortunate thing after that with that caution that came out like that. Knowing that you had the race lead after it cycled through on pit stops after that, the pit stops after that caution there. Knowing the type of restart that you were going to have to get. I mean, it was clear that Kazi had a fast truck. You had a fast truck. You had been battling him. Jeremy had called it before I even had a chance to, that you were going to take that high side. But you still knew that you had to have probably the best restart of your race on that one there. How were you prepping yourself coming up to that last restart there to try to put yourself in position in that clean air?
Yeah, I was actually just watching it again, and if you notice the restart box, there's 2 lines on the wall. So starting on the outside, you can see that better than you can on the inside. So after you go by that second restart line, that's when the green flag comes out, and I knew if I was on that and I was able to get my truck out in front of his, it would have been tough to pass.
And tough to pass it was. You got that clean air. It definitely caught the 88 of Kazi off guard a little bit there again, like you said, but because that inside lane can't see that restart line. And right there, you can see, how that assisted and how that helped you out. But I mean, he was able to try to close you back up. But man, that open track, that's exactly what you needed to secure your first victory of the Sticker Cabana Truck Series season. And again, it's at a track I know that you've been talking a lot about this week. So it's definitely great to see you in victory lane. You definitely had a hot rod. It was a rocket ship right from the drop of the green flag. So you finished 1 spot better than where you qualified at. So definitely a good on that one there. So this is your time, buddy. I know we've interviewed you before, but it hasn't been for that race victory. So I know that there's some series sponsors you want to shout out to. I know that there's some other sponsors you want to shout out to, some friends, family, anybody that's got you this far, man. The floor is yours.
Big shout out to Sticker Cabana and our new sponsor, Martin Sports. Stepped up big time and gonna do some prize gloves at a select few races coming up soon. I believe it's the next few that the race winner is going to get donated a set of racing gloves. So that'll be pretty cool. Definitely Hideaway Motorsports. Without them guys underneath me, I would not be in this truck doing what I do. Without them backing me up, supporting me, testing, tuning, and it's unbelievable. Big shout out. Also, last but not least, the most famous broadcast, Nerditudes. Love them. Love you guys. Love what you do. Can't complain. Absolutely love you guys. Keep it up.
And we appreciate that. We love what you guys do, because I tell you what, I mean, it's this is only round 3 of the Sticker Cabana Truck Series, and we have not been disappointed calling races whatsoever up to this point. So you guys are doing an excellent job. We appreciate everything you have. Had some technical difficulties, but we did throw out some of the sponsor names mid-race. Apparently, I need to figure out that I need to have my mic on after disconnecting my computer and reconnecting. So the entire pre-race show had me moving my lips and not making a sound. So Jeremy
we can definitely pick the slack up. You could throw some ad libs in there.
There you go. So yeah, Jeremy picked the slack up on that one there. So I mean, it's we appreciate it. We appreciate what you guys do. I tell you what, at this point in time, man, you've earned it. That was a hell of a race. I mean, some good driving, some good highlights on that. You go and celebrate with your team. And again, we'll see you next week to see if you can't gamble it some more at Las Vegas, baby.
Look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That is your just want to rattle his cage 250 at Bristol race winner, Josh Benoit. So again, it's excellent guy. Very humble. And it's always good to interview him. I tell you what, Jeremy, I don't think we've had a bad interview at all when it comes to anybody here at Fuel. They've always been good ones.
Yeah, they know how to do it. That's for sure. As far as tonight goes, I think Josh might be our only guys. The other guys have kind of stepped aside, maybe talking to the teams, trying to figure out what went wrong. But yeah, as far as the guys we have talked to for now, the 3rd race of the season and the Sticker Cabana Truck Series, like it's yeah, they know what they're doing. They know who to talk to, and each of them, it's kind of cool. They have their own personal shout outs with sponsors and family and all that good stuff to spit out each and every week. So definitely cool to hear. And thoughts on tonight's race, Dustin? A little more cautions than what I expected, but at the end of the day, the racing was actually pretty darn good. In my playbook, anyways, I am quite pleased with it. That mid-race caution just kind of messed with some people's positions for sure. Definitely changed a lot of strategies. They only allowed 6 people to finish on the lead lap, but outside of that, we got to see a truck almost flip over the fence. We saw some 3-wide racing. We saw a little bit of netco. We saw some really solid side-by-side racing for multiple laps. So we saw just almost a little bit of everything, Dustin.
Yeah, and we did. Like you said, I mean, it's some of the racing action we've seen. The truck flip was crazy. I mean, we've seen a lot of spins, a lot of real close calls, but I tell you what, a lot of heads-up driving too. I mean, those things could have been way worse than what they actually were, and they didn't turn out that way. I mean, the last one being the just a slight contact between the 88 and the 46 with simultaneous slides, and they both saved it. So excellent heads-up driving with everything on there. We do want to make notice. I mean, some very strong runs. Again, Bentley had an excellent run as well. I've been in the top 5 all week. I want to make mention, though, we didn't get a chance to, and I was hoping that we were going to be able to interview Joseph Causey on this one, because Jeremy, remember, he started from the pits. Had that caution that came out. Everything was, it was to his benefit. Everything worked very good and was able to rebound to come up to finish in runner-up. So again, another strong finish by the 88. I was kind of looking forward to trying to interview him to see what's going on. And Anthony Crownover, again, we didn't call his name a lot. He was kind of mid-pack on everything that was going on. But, I mean, overall, man, he come back to a top 3 podium finish. I mean, it was a fantastic race all around. I couldn't ask for anything more when it comes to a Bristol race like that, because I mean, the driving was spectacular.
Yeah, if Mr. Kazi keeps up the way he has been racing, I'm sure we'll get him in the booth either next week or the week after. He's just putting on some solid performance from the green flag drop at Daytona. So I don't expect we'll have a long wait before we get to talk to him, and for Anthony for that matter. Definitely played a little bit of strategy that it worked in his favor that maybe it wasn't, in his playbook to begin with, but he definitely pulled off the best what he could and got that top three. So I'm sure his team is stoked overall with that finish.
Absolutely. So at this point in time, again, I want to thank everybody out there that has been watching. I want to thank everybody that shouted out to give me the heads up that I was a goofball and didn't check my my settings and everything else to make sure that it was out there. So again, I appreciate all the help out there. Thank you guys out there in viewer land. I do want to give a shout out again, Jen. She is a fan of pretty much everybody that races here, and she is always watching, and we greatly appreciate that. She does want to give a shout out to Josh again on an awesome finish. So again, thank you guys, and thank you for everybody that has commented on there. We appreciate it. We try to work you in. It's a little harder at Bristol because there's a lot of action going on. We don't have as much space to be able to do it. But you guys know that we try to work you guys in if you guys throw a comment in there, as long as it's appropriate. Keep it appropriate. But we always try to throw those in there and have you guys be a part of the show too, because that's what it's about. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So again, thank you guys for the help and assistance on that. And I promise you guys will get to listen to my annoying voice for next week's pre-race show. But at that point in time, Jeremy, again, we got to thank the sponsors, Sticker Cabana. I mean, they are the series title sponsor. They've been riding along, doing an excellent job. So I do not envy your job, Mark. Do not envy your job. That's Mark Vega. That's race control. Says try doing race control. I'll leave race control up to you, buddy. We'll hang it out up here in the booth. So, but again, Sticker Cabana, you guys do an excellent job. We want to thank Butt Kicker as well as coming on board. Martin Sports, again, that didn't get to hear it in the pre-race show, but we did throw it out mid-race. And we're going to, we appreciate them coming on board. Again, those gloves, I've heard nothing but great things. I personally can't wait to try my set of gloves that's coming in, so it should be very interesting on that. Again, Jeremy Coors was probably one of the biggest ones that did that, because he is a big advocate on how he feels about gloves, and it's typically not good. But he definitely praised them last week in Victory Lane as being a big help on that one there in an underpowered machine trying to dodge a late race wreck. So again, Martin Sports, check them out on Facebook and on the web. They make some excellent products. They do a lot of research. They manufacture their own materials and everything else. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort in there. That their products, their apparel products, would be enough to put some apparel companies to shame. So again, check them out. Good stuff there. Good group of guys there too, and they got a lot of support. So check them out. We want to thank Hideaway Cove Campground as well. It's again, big supporter, Hideaway Motorsports, in conjunction with that, and then Nerditudes being on there. And we again want to thank all you guys for everything you do. So with that said, Mark says his head's spinning. It's probably a lot like a lot of the trucks that we're spinning too. So, but with that said, we just want to let you guys know about some of the shows that are coming up. Here in a sorry, I had a brain fart. Some of the shows that are coming up in a here in the next couple of weeks or so. So again, we have next week, we've already stated we got Las Vegas. And I don't know why I'm stumbling over my words, but we have Vegas next week. So again, very fast track. Definitely going to pose some faster speeds, but the layout is great. Perfect place to put everything out on Gamble. Excellent place to put everything out on Gamble with that. So with that, that's going to be what was that, Jeremy? The 23rd, September 23rd, I do believe. Yep, it's going to be next Thursday, and October 3rd for Over the Limit for their season kickoff at Volusia is still on the books. So again, for everybody out there, thank you guys. Be sure you hit the like button. Be sure you hit the follow button. Be sure you subscribe. do all that crazy fancy stuff that everybody tells you to try to do. So again, thank you guys for everything you do. Thank the sponsors. For myself, Dustin Logston, and my partner in crime, the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley, we want to thank you guys again for tonight. It was an excellent race, and we'll catch you guys next week at the track. Until then, stay safe. Love you guys.
Good night.